From what you've seen from the outside, do you think he could come in and actually challenge our current number one goalkeeper, 𝐍𝐶, and maybe claim the number one spot at Bramall Lane? Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Hal. Delighted to be actually reporting on a transfer that isn't a loan deal. It feels like a long, long time since we last said that. We are talking about Adam Davies, who arrives at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane, the 29-year-old goalkeeper signing from Stoke City. His contract was due to expire with Stoke in the summer. And I'll tell you as much as I know about this guy. Born in Germany, in the town of Rilteln, hopefully I pronounced that right, in the northwest of the country. His father was stationed there as a member of the armed forces. That's why he was in Germany, then known as British Forces Germany. He returned to the UK with his family. They settled in Warrington. Adam played rugby league at school in the same team as ex-Warrington Wolves halfback Gareth O'Brien. And then his focus was purely football. He was actually named as Warrington's under-16 Sports Personality of the Year back in 2007. He spent his youth football career at Everton, joined them at the age of 14, but following his release, he went to Sheffield Wednesday. I know, stayed there for 2 seasons without making a first-team appearance. He was largely backup for Chris Kirkland. And then, get this, at the age of 22, that's how long he had to wait, he worked with Paul Heckingbottom at Barnsley, making over 200 appearances, with 184 of those in the league. And he really enjoyed his spell with Barnsley. Promotion twice, a Football League trophy to his name as well. And he also became club captain. He's an international, 2 caps for Wales, one against Trinidad and Tobago, the other Bulgaria. So here's what I know about him ability-wise. Good reach and reflexes. I think he's a good option to challenge 𝐍𝐶, and not going to be on super high wages. He has a bit of a reputation for being poor from crosses and set plays. Some say a tendency to flap, but we will find out. I mean, maybe that's the reason he hasn't nailed down Stoke's number one spot. Rather be it than me to tell you about a Stoke City player formerly, Elliot Yates from Stoke's fan channel, the Bear Pit TV, joins us on the channel now. Elliot, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Just glad to be on your fan channel, and yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, the first question is the most important question. Do you say Adam Davies or Adam Davis?
I say Davis. I know people who have said Davies before. It's just one of those. It's one of those names where you can't really pronounce it. But yeah, he's a good keeper. The only problem with him, I just think, is that he was never really going to be a long-term option at Stoke. So I can understand him wanting a move and wanting to get that Wales shirt, which I think is one of his targets, and I don't think he's going to do that at Stoke. So yeah, looking forward to talk about it more, but that's my basic observation.
Interesting. Okay, so Michael O'Neill, Stoke City's manager, clearly he felt you have enough cover to let's just call him Adam, go. And, you know, with his contract, as I've mentioned, up in the summer, does that make sense for the Potters?
Well, I think it makes sense simply because of Joe Bursik, who's our other keeper. So if you know Joe Bursik, he is the England under-21 number one. Took that away from Aaron Ramsdale. You'll know a lot about how good he is. So he's the future. And Adam, I feel like, has always Michael O'Neill in particular, I think, has always seen him as a number 2. And he wants to be the number 1. So it's one of those things where he's a very good goalkeeper. When he has been number 1, he's been very, very good for Stoke. But we've always seen the future with Joe Bursik. So I'll put it, for instance, when he arrived at Stoke, first of all, we had Jack Butland, Adam Federici, and Adam. And he was actually 3rd choice under Nathan Jones. And he didn't get his first start until lockdown in that season. So he had to wait a long time to actually get his chance. And I have to say, Jack Butland was on a massive shortage of confidence at that time. He's trying to gain that back now with Crystal Palace, but you've seen where that confidence has got him. He's not really settled down the number 1 role at Palace, and he was the England goalkeeper at one point. So that lack of confidence, if anything, helped Adam, because then he went on to become the number 1 for Stoke for the rest of that season during the lockdown period. And then we signed Angus Gunn, who I feel like is another keeper. We thought, well, he's going to be seen as our number 1, but then Adam pushed him out the way as well. So it was an interesting season. Adam then got injured and Angus Gunn got injured, which meant we had to recall Joe Bursik back. And Joe Bursik just set the complete world alight. We had 6 goalkeepers at one point. And I think we always knew that Joe was going to be our number one, and that's continued throughout this season. So I can understand us wanting to go because he wants to play. Not going to do that while Joe Bursic's in that team because we see him as the future.
That makes perfect sense to me. All right, we'll stick with the way that you say it then, Adam Davies. So he has played, is this right, 12 of 26 for Stoke this season?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, I looked up his saves per game ratio at 2.23, which, if for those that don't really know how those work, let me just tell you, it's good. And it's on a very similar kind of level par with our current number one, 𝐍𝐶. So from what you've seen from the outside, do you think he could come in and actually challenge our current number one goalkeeper, 𝐍𝐶, and maybe claim the number one spot at Bramall Lane?
Well, definitely. I think he's a good goalkeeper for any championship team. It just so happens that we have this young kid in who's we've got more potential to grow with than he's a 20-year-old kid, and this is a 29-year-old goalkeeper. You've got more potential for him to get better if he's challenging Adam at 20 than Adam Davies, who's probably the finished article in his career. Maybe a little bit more considering, goalkeepers, their age doesn't really matter sometimes. Yeah. But I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper to have at any level in the championship. And I think when I heard Sheffield United, I thought he would take it because, like I said, he was at your bitter rivals Wednesday. He was at Barnsley. I think Yorkshire is home for him. So he may see it as an opportunity to come back home, grab that Wales shirt and get that Wales shirt and stick down a place in that team.
Well, we hope so, because that means he's done well at Bramall Lane. If he gets that number one shirt for Wales, that means it's going well at club level. So you heard what I said about his qualities, ability-wise. I said he had good reach and reflexes. Is it fair to say he is a good shot stopper? But was I also correct in saying that crosses and set plays, that kind of tendency to flap, is that actually accurate? Is that anything you've seen?
I'd say that's fairly accurate. I wouldn't be too worried about him coming for crosses because the way you've said it, it's kind of overhyping it. He's like really bad at crossing. Everyone fears that when he comes out for a cross, it's going to be danger. But we don't really fear that at Stoke. It's funny enough, our other goalkeeper who played instead of Adam the other day actually missed one from a cross as well. So we've got that problem all over now. So it's probably just a Stoke thing. It's not really an Adam Davies situation. But I'd say, very good shot stopper. Also very good at saving penalties. He's got a very good penalty record at Stoke. I think there was our penalty record is ridiculous. So when we had Jack Butland in goal, I think he only saved one penalty, and that was in a penalty shootout, so it didn't really count. But Adams came in, and I think he saved probably around 3 penalties, I want to say. So
wow,
he's a very good penalty shot stopper as well. So if you've got a penalty given against you, then I'd be more confident having Adam Davies in net than probably his predecessor, Jack Butland.
I love it. Okay, that's something to get excited about, of course, because penalties often feel like, well, that's a gimme. But if we've brought in a keeper that can actually save them and has a reputation for that, I love hearing that. Okay, now one thing that I know Blades are always interested in, because historically, certainly fans who don't support Sheffield United seem to think we're a kick and lump team. We're not. But if the goalkeeper has to do one of his long-range kicks, did you ever notice anything about his kicking that worried you, or is he just a good keeper at kicking?
Well, I don't think he's a modern day keeper at that. I'd say he's kind of more old fashioned. I'd say we've got more time to develop Joe with his kicking and sort of play out from the back, which is what we're trying to do at the moment. I don't think Adam was ever really that goalkeeper who's learned to kind of play out the back every single week as a kid. Whenever he seemed to get the ball with his feet, it wasn't that he wasn't good. He just wasn't the modern day goalkeeper, if you like, to actually play with the ball at his feet. But if you ask the old-fashioned fan, it's all about saving with your hands, and he's very good at that. So I'd say for what he lacks with his feet, I'd say he's very good with his hands. But long distance-wise, he's got a good kick on him. It's not as if he struggles to get past the halfway line. He probably could do that, but it's just more sort of about actually passing to the back four and the defence that maybe sometimes fans will be a bit cautious about him.
When I was doing my research for another goalkeeper we were linked with, Frank Fielding, I said, this guy's not a sweeper keeper. So is Adam better or worse than Frank Fielding?
Better, probably, yeah. Oh, and Frank Fielding's with us at the moment, so I would know. But yeah, he is better than him, and it's annoying because it has weakened the goalkeeping department with him leaving, but I can understand why he's left, because the problem is, if you've got such a strong goalkeeping department, one of those goalkeepers is probably going to go, well, I want to get first team football. That's Adam. Joe knows he's going to get first team football at Stoke because he's the young kid coming through. He got promoted with Peterborough. He's broke through into the Stoke team. He's kind of developed beyond his years. Really, we had a plan for him last season, and then he's just come back on loan through injuries. He's got lucky, but so has Adam as well. So he's got lucky, but he's done really well. And we have to just say, you know what, Adam, you're 29, Joe's 20. We've got to go with the young kid who could be a really top goalkeeper in the future. If you're the England under 21 number one, you know that's going to stand you in good stride to actually have a great career in the future.
Well, Blades fans, we've already got several players whose name we all pronounce differently. We can add Adam Davies or Davis to that list. And Elliot Yates from Stoke's fan channel, The Bear Pit TV. I thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to you again in the future.